Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. My name is Muhammad Tepuri from Nahdlatul Ulama University of Purwokerto. Today I will deliver some submission of our debates today. Based on 61 research annals of internal medicine studies involving more than 4 million people, found a reduced rates of cancer as much as 7% reducing their suffering of red meat consumption per week. The greatest reduction in cancer rates occurred in gastric of stomach cancer, which was 14% lower. A similar reduction in risk will also races of cancer by 12%. The data also show eating less increasing red meat has a 10% lower chance of developing types of 2 diabetes over the next 11 years. Eating 3 fewer serving also reducing the chance of heart disease by 5%, 6% for stroke, and 7% for heart attacks. The risk reduction was even greater in the review of studies comparison heat and low intake of red and processed meat. Government, in a review of studies comparing, have a 4-year trend of increasing dietary times. Guidelines recommended people limit have themselves to consumption just 2.5 oz or 70 grams of red meat a day. This is the equivalent of the lunch jobs of the Portuguese soldiers have a beef burger and other half-baked bacons. But for the experts from the 7 countryside, based on the 5 review of previous research, decided people should continue it at the current average amount of the red meat. Not Americans and Europe, it is an average of the 3 or 4 saving per week. Scientists from the Delta and McMaster University in Canada as well as the Turkmen Research Center in Spain and Poland carried out a study. A total of 61 studies have monitored the health of permanent than 4 million people, and 12 studies that have required to change the diet of about 5,400 people. And its added study says the research that has analyzed referred with a similar to superficial knowledge, but research is of the attribute knowledge for that. And the tips of also the results of the previous studies with cheaper, but to make suggestion about how the people doesn't mean that how they will change their lifestyle will not have a chance of the rates, And besides, there is only low current evidence of reduced cancer risks and relative efficiency of the healthy and the consequence from reducing red meat consumption. Johnson quiet from the dilemma. It is Wednesday to the 20th of November. In the editorial published with the paper, Dr. Arun Carroll and Tiwari Daharti of Indian University suggest to also continue to each remember the process made at this time, unless they want to change their own consumption. The suggestion is certainly controversial, but it is based on the most comprehensive review of evidence to that, because the review is inclusive. That saying to reflect, it will have a hard time finding right evidence to build an argument. Then, the World Health Organization or WHO classified red meat as a possible cause of cancer and processed meat as a carcinogen. The National Health Service and ICE, the UK's Public Health Service Program, also cite eating a lot of red meat may increase the risk of the bowel cancer. The cancer risk cancer in the UK says the chemical meat are potentially safe because they damage co-ethical. Medical group are divided of the study, describing as the excellent study's result, but are hesitant to agree with telling people to cut back on meat. Opinions are contradictory, with Professor David Spector from the University of Cambridge stressing the study did not find good evidence of the important health benefit of reducing meat consumption. Cross-currently, Kevin McConroy, emerges the professor of applied studies at the British Open University, called it a very comprehensive work. However, Professor Tim Kay from the University of Oxford cited there was strong evidence that processed meats can be a bowel cancer. He saw that the results of this latest publication were basically identical to the existing evidence. But describing the impact is very different, going against to the general actions among cancer research experts. Dr. Marcus Friedman, an environmental and health expert on Oxford, added the recommendation will pass on selected reading, even disagree wide of the presented evidence. The review clearly demonstrates the benefit of reducing consumption of red and processed of the meat. Size fragment. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, apart from the case above it, there are still many reasons behind the lack of good meat consumption. Indonesia, this is our country. It's an agricultural country with a very high livestock consumption. This results in increasing herring cows, quails, and thus from the speech of the head of the East Kalimantan, PKH says regarding the increasing in the value of the livestock subsector or GRDP in 2021 by 36.41 billion rupiah from 2,218.67 billion rupiah to 2,200.58 billion rupiah. This is the language. The farmer exchange rate NTB for livestock are increased by 2.8 from 101.65 to 100.73. The exchange rate farmer or the price above 1,000 means the farmers are still profitable because the sales value is higher thousands cows. This makes us have to resist to consuming of the meat. Besides that, our country with its based on dairy food must be maintained mutual tolerance by not consuming private animal, because this will have a negative impact on the unity and harmonization of our national Indonesia and state life which have their progressing together. Thank you very much. That's all about our discussion today.